All right, welcome back to Belovsky Science. It is Wednesday, October the 21st, and we are continuing with Chapter 2 in the Black Book. We've been talking about cells and cell processes. Today we're going to delve into what are in cells. We're starting to get into the structures that are inside of cells. Today in class, we completed the Chapter 2, Section 1 review sheet. It will, you need to turn that in today. The review, the last day that you have to turn that review in will be Friday of this week. So it would be great if you'd just go ahead and turn it in today. Get the thing, and it says Chapter 2. Trying to find where my copy is. I got a copy around here. Oh, right here it is. You want to now, of course, yours is on computer, but it looks like this right here. Chapter 2, Section 1. You need to get this thing completed, and you need to get this turned in to me because that will be graded. Today, we also started doing Chapter 2, Section 2, or Lesson 2, because this book says lessons instead of sections. Then we started answering numbers 1 through, let's see, we got about through numbers 1 through 19 today. So you want to get that done, and you'll be able to answer that if you listen to this quick little lesson that we're about to go through here in just a few minutes. Remember, all the answers to those questions are found in the textbook. So if you'll use your textbook, you'll be able to answer them. This Chapter 2, Lesson 2, it will be turned in. Its deadline is Friday as well. So remember, we're talking about deadlines now. We are, since we're having so many people not turn in work and just turn it in as they see fit, well, it's going to cost you points now. There's a late fee of 50 points, which is better than a zero, but it sure would. These things, it would be a whole lot better if you just turn them in when they are due. Okay, so let's real quickly go to your textbook, and this is Lesson 2 that we are working on today. And I'm going to accidentally go past it. All right, so this is what we're going to talk about today. So go to, you need to find this right here. You need to go through your Google Classroom, and you need to find this item right here. This right here is your Chapter 2, Lesson 2 review sheet. And on the very bottom of this page, where you just saw that I was located, is the notes. All right, so this is where you need to go, and you need to type in these notes as we go. All right, so what did we talk about today in class? Well, in class today, and let me get my textbook back there. In class today, we started talking about cells. We started out talking about cells' shapes, and basically their function determines what their shape is. And for example, this right here is a nerve cell that's inside of your body. Well, notice how it's got these little stretchy parts that stick out here. They are basically what your nerve cells do is they relay messages, and they receive a message from one nerve cell, and then they pass it on to the next one. And that's what happens. These bring in a message, and then it travels through this tail-like thing, which is called the axon, and it passes it on to the next nerve cell. And that's how messages move throughout your body, from your brain to your hand. Anything that is associated with your senses deals with nerves usually. So hearing, the sense of sight, the sense of smell, the sense of taste, and touch Those deal with nerves. So this next picture right here shows you blood cells. And blood cells are, if you'll notice, they have a disc appearance to them. Well, they are shaped kind of like a pie tin, a pie pan. And that is so that it makes it so that they are flexible, so that they can move around as they flow through your blood vessels. And remember, your tiniest of blood vessels are called your capillaries. Well, when blood gets to your capillaries, they have to be able to twist and turn as they move through your capillaries. Well, that's why blood has to be the shape that it is. It allows it to be able to move through your blood system. And this thing right here these are called xylem cells. And xylem cells form a tube that you can see right there. You do not have xylem. Xylem is found in plant cells. And what xylem does is it sucks up water from the roots and moves it to the top parts of the plant. Whether it's a little bitty plant like a rhododendron, or whether it's a great big tall plant like a oak tree, they have xylem in them. And xylem just basically takes water from the roots and moves it up throughout the plant wherever it is needed. And remember, plants got to have water in order to make food. So it's important that you get water up to the leaves, because that is water is one of the main ingredients for food when it comes to food making for a plant. All right. So depending upon what the job is of the cell will determine how the cell looks itself. All right. So we're going to scroll here, and we're going to get to our first word right here. And our first word right here, we're going to click on a color right here. And let's say we're going to make it a purplish color. All right. The number one that you need to type on your notes is cell membrane. The cell membrane is a flexible covering that protects the inside of a cell from the environment outside a cell. Hit pause, type that in, go. Okay, you paused it and you typed that in. All right, so what is a cell? A cell is a flexible covering. It's on the outside of a cell that protects the inside of the cell from the environment outside the cell. So if we go up here and if we look at this, I'm going to get my pointer back here. If we go up here and look at this picture right here of this cell, the outer covering that you see, this white area, that is not the cell membrane. That is the cell wall. We'll get to the cell wall in just a second. The inner part that you see right here is the cell membrane. It is what controls things like certain liquids and certain other nutrients to be able to come in and out of the cell. So the cell membrane basically has control what comes in and what goes out of the cell. All right, now the next word is down here towards the bottom, and it is cell wall. All right, so what is a cell wall? All right, a cell wall is a stiff structure outside the cell membrane. A stiff structure outside the cell membrane. Hit pause. Okay, you've got that typed in now. All right, so what is the cell wall? Well, I'm going to move back down here a little bit. All right, the cell wall is what we talked about just a moment ago, this structure, this white area outside, and it's usually a little bit more stiff and rigid. And what it does is it protects the cell from certain things trying to get in. Say, for example, like certain bacteria and viruses will be stopped by the cell wall. The cell wall also gives the plant structure and support. Okay, say like plants outside, they don't have bones. So what holds them up? Okay, well, it's the cell wall. Cell wall helps to hold up the cell, and it prevents them from falling in on themselves. Okay, all right. So the And now if I scroll over here to the animal cell, now this is the animal cell. This is what we are made up of. And you'll notice that there is no cell wall here. Well, that's because we got bones on the inside of us. So we do not need a support structure because we've already got that support structure in our skeleton. All right, so but you can see the cell membrane here, and of course, like I just said, no cell wall. All right, now also if we will scroll through here, all right, you will see right here where it says cell appendages. Now, an appendage is something that sticks out of the main part of an organism. For example, we got arms and we got legs. Those are appendages. Let's see here. A lobster's got a pincher, okay, and so do crabs. All right. Fish have appendages. They have fins, okay. Birds have appendages. They are wings, okay. So an appendage is something that comes out of the main part of the body of an organism. Well, some cells have appendages. Okay. So, well, what would that be? Okay. Well, if you will look, now you're going to have to look at this one because this is one of those hidden words you're going to have to look and you're going to have to pay attention to. If you look right here, it says arms and legs, claws, and antenna are all types of appendages. Cells can have appendages too. Cell appendages are often used for movement. Now, the first word that you need to write down is flagella, or the second, or no, actually, the third word you need to write down is flagella. So, what is flagella? All right, flagella are long tail-like appendages that whip back and forth and move a cell. Flagella are long tail-like appendages that whip back and forth and move a cell. Now, hit pause and type that in. All right, so what is an appendage? Okay, well, if you look at this picture right here that I'm about to click on, this is not me. Okay, this right here is flagella, and this is a bacteria cell. And what you're looking at is the flagella that are hanging out of its backside. And these things spin around real fast and they propel it through water, all right, or through a liquidy environment. So basically, it's what a bacteria can use to get itself to move around inside of a environment that is wet. And so, yeah, the majority of bacteria that you will find are in environments where it's wet. And now another type of I didn't mean to do that. Oops. Another type of appendage. Let's go back to the textbook here. And let's move my face. Another type is located right here. Cilia. Cilia are short hair-like structures. They can move a cell or move molecules away from a cell. All right, so hit pause. All right, so number 4 in your book is, or number 4 on your notes that you're keeping there is cilia. Now, yes, we have already talked about cilia. Cilia is in our respiratory system. In fact, if you look at this picture right here, you will see cilia. And cilia, this right here says lung cells have cilia that help move fluids and foreign materials. If you'll remember, cilia are constantly waving back and forth, and they're trying to move things around, trying to get rid of the nasty stuff. Like you don't want bacteria, you don't want viruses, you don't want smoke and ash, and you don't want You don't want water. That's why you cough real hard when you get these things in your smoke in your lungs, because it's not supposed to be there. And so if little micromolecules wind up in your lung, well, these cilia right here they'll try to flush it over to where it can get caught in mucus, or where it can get sent down to the stomach where it can be destroyed. I've got another picture right here of nasal cilia. This right here is what nasal cilia, back in the back parts of your sinuses. This right here is a good picture of this dude right here. It shows you what your sinuses look like back there in the back. And this has cilia. Man, he's got some bloodshot eyes. You can see the capillaries running in this dude's eyes. Didn't notice that before. But anyway, I get distracted. Right back here is filled with cilia. And the cilia is trying to move over the stuff that you breathe in, dust and pollen, over to where the mucous membranes are, so that it can be destroyed, sent down to the stomach, whatever. So that is what cilia is. All right. Another thing that we talked about is cytoplasm. So let's go back to the textbook. All right, cytoplasm. Let's get a different color here. We've got several that are, let's get green here. All right, cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is a fluid inside a cell that contains salts and other molecules. All right, hit pause and type that in. All right, so what is cytoplasm? Well, your cells, we have kind of talked about cytoplasm earlier. Cytoplasm is the jelly-like fluid that's inside of our cells, and it helps support our cells, and the organelles are floating around in it. It has water in it. It has salt in it. It basically is giving the other organelles, the living things inside the cell, that help keep the cell alive. It helps basically to give it support and give it nutrients. Now, something else that is in the cell right here is the cytoplasm, or the cytoskeleton. So that is number 6, cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton is a network of thread-like proteins that are joined together. All right, so hit pause, type that, and come back. Okay, so you've got it typed in. What is a cytoskeleton? Well, here is a very bad picture of one. This is a hand-drawn picture that kind of shows you what cytoskeleton does. The green, the red, and the orange shows you that basically what this is. This is a network of proteins and other things that help to support the cell, and it is called the cytoskeleton. Now, if you'll think about it, your cell is way too small to have bones in it, so it's got to have something that helps support the cell. Well, that is what the cytoskeleton does. The cytoskeleton helps support the cell. Okay, basically, it's a framework within the cell. All right, now, some of the classes got a little bit further than that today. We're going to stop right there and pick up right up with that spot tomorrow. What you need to do, as I just got through saying at the beginning of this video, you need to turn in. Here, let's just go to class. All right. So you need to turn in. Today would be great. This right here, Chapter 2, Section 1. And so far in this class, I've got 19 folks that have turned it in. All right, so you need to, if you haven't finished this, you need to get it finished and you need to get it turned in. And then you need to start this right here, which is Chapter 2, Lesson 2, and answer through about number 19 or so. And you'll have basically done what we've done in class today. So if you have any questions, email me, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.